talk to me from your standpoint, from building Ripple for so long, from going through the ups and downs of Ripple, being here today, what it means for you.
It's tremendously exciting. I feel like we really are on the cusp of a mass institutional adoption, both of DeFi and of other blockchain technologies. And I think,
actually the question is not how institutions are adopting DeFi, it's how they navigate it, right? And now it's really about navigating it versus are they touching it or not? They are. They're already interacting with it.
But I think there's now another community forming, which is the institutional DeFi community.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video breakdown, I'm going to be showing you guys that financial institutions are 110% going through an entire educational and mindset shift. They will 110% be integrating themselves into the DeFi ecosystem to start generating yield on their digital assets. And you do not want to have the mindset that existed before 2022 that most individuals in the crypto ecosystem still have to this day because they lack research. I'm going to be showing you guys some fresh, updated research that backs everything that I've been trying to show you guys on the CYPRX platform, that now is the time to get educated on earning yield on your digital assets. This video breakdown is going to blow your mind and is going to be a video that you're not going to want to miss. So we're going to start here on Vandal from Black Swan Capitalists X profile. If you don't follow this individual, he's always putting out valuable and great information. One of the good researchers in this space. Go give him a follow. We're going to start off by reading this post where he said, if you make $1 million in crypto, what happens after that? Can you turn that into sustainable flows of income without eating your wealth? This is a serious question. The real challenge is not making money, it's keeping it and making it work for you. Something to think about. I agree 110%. And I already knew that I was going to get ate up in the comments by ignorant individuals when I posted this. With $1 million in capital right now, you could be earning a healthy 10 to 17% through DeFi and liquidity pools on regulated stablecoins right now that is anywhere between $100,000 to $170,000 per year in passive income. It is happening right now, and you can see it all on chain. And of course, all the ignorant naysayers in the comments came out and started yapping. So we're going to go through some of that, and I'm going to dispel all of that in today's video breakdown again. Now is the time. I've been trying to show you guys this. Do you want to be listening to ignorant people on Twitter that have absolutely no credentials? Or do you want to be sitting in listening to individuals that actually have credentials from regulated institutions or people that have even been recently meeting with the president, which we will get into in today's video breakdown? This is going to blow your freaking mind, right? So coming over here, there are platforms right now offering regulated DeFi solutions most people don't know about because they continue to focus on distractions. Right now, there are even platforms that allow you to earn yield on regulated stablecoins like USDC and EURC, which are both regulated digital assets, especially under MiCA or Mika, however you want to pronounce it, tomatoes, which again, we'll get into in today's video breakdown. Look up Open Eden, look up Aptos, look up Ondo DeFi developments. Just go and get some research under your belt, or join a like-minded community that does the research for you like we do here at CYPRX. And of course, this individual underneath of the comments, Bobby A, this is the individual I want to comment out. These are the type of people you do not want to be following. I'm telling you guys, stick around for the entirety of today's video breakdown because it's going to dispel every single thing that this uncredited individual says on the internet, an ignorant retail investor that is stuck with the mindset from 2022, right? And is not willing to transform and adapt with the changing and moving tides, which you have to do if you want to remain relevant in this ever-evolving digital asset ecosystem, okay? Bobby A said here, look up Luna, look up Celsius, look up Three Arrows Capital. I said this is the most ignorant post if you think that the current DeFi ecosystem is anything compared to what it was a few years ago. You have done zero research on the current market infrastructure. Start educating yourself. I even tagged this individual so that they can educate themselves from individuals with actual valid credentials in the space from regulated financial institutions where they said these things.
That was triggered by this lapse of risk management, right? When you saw the CDFI lenders like BlockFi and Nexo and Celsius kind of blow up, right, due to the contagion, did DeFi blow up? No, they didn't. Did DeFi blow up? No, they didn't.
And away from that, I think DeFi very quietly is humming along like really, really well, especially given, I mean, I don't know if everybody saw that, but crypto had the worst liquidation in the last 24 hours, more than COVID, more than sort of like any historically. And none of these chains broke. None of the lending protocols broke or were unable to process transactions. These things are largely not reported in the media, but these are the silent spaces where I do see opportunities. These things are largely not reported in the media, but these are the silent spaces where I do see opportunity.
And all this individual did was reply back with laughy emojis, which goes to show that the vast majority of individuals does not even know that this information exists because they're not paying attention to it. Now let's migrate over here and let's get into some more video clips from some recent panel discussions. This is uploaded from the Chainlink YouTube, March 19th, only has 1,600 views from the Digital Asset Summit 2025. I want you all to take a second. I'm going to play two video clips that Sergey from Chainlink goes on to say about the current DeFi environment. Take a second and listen. Keep in mind that this is the same gentleman that met with US President Donald Trump just the other day. So who do you want to be listening to? Ignorant retail traders on the internet that have absolutely no credentials and probably could never sit in the same room with the president or even the co-founder of Chainlink because, again, they don't have the valid credentials to even do such a thing? Or do you want to be listening to a pioneer in this space that is literally sitting in with the head of the freaking White House, making these executive decisions and helping transform the financial system? Think about that as I'm showing you all this information. Take a second and listen.
I guess first question for Sergey. How are you seeing DeFi and TradFi working together more? And what are kind of the implications of this?
Yeah, so I think we've been talking about this in our industry for some time, and people have been expecting it for some time, and it hasn't been happening. So people got a little bit desensitized to the idea that institutions and DeFi will start working together. But now it is actually happening.
Very cool. So let's shift gears just a little bit. As it's apparent to everyone here, we're very much in a new regulatory environment. We have the stablecoin bill, the market structure bill coming through Congress. We have, Sergey, you were speaking to the President of the United States 2 weeks ago. It's a very surreal moment, I have to say. But how would you say this recent regulatory shift, this positivity is, what potential does it have to impact DeFi specifically?
Yeah, so it's basically the key unlock that I think our industry was waiting for. I think Bitcoin transactions and kind of the early versions of DeFi were for one group of users, kind of the DeFi degen community, which we all love and are a part of, and is great and is going to continue and is going to grow massively. But I think there's now another community forming, which is the institutional DeFi community. And that institutional DeFi community is going to eat up more and more of the global financial system. And I think the people in Washington, D.C. understand this. They understand that the internet-based financial system was a transition from paper, and now there's a transition from the internet-based financial system to the Web3 financial system. And that understanding definitely did not exist there 4 or 5 months ago, because they were still thinking about how do we just stop and everything, how do we slow everything, how do we kill everything, how do we not allow anything to be transacted or any teams to be in the US or any of this stuff. So it's a massive shift. And I think they are sometimes thinking about how do I encourage teams to come back to the US. But I think what will actually be the more important outcome due to the global nature of our industry is how do all the assets get issued in the United States? And then how do those assets go into the most reliable DeFi protocol like Aave to be lended against and all those type of things? And it's not necessarily critical that the team that runs Aave or the DAO or the contributors are all in the US. What's more important is that the DeFi system, the DeFi ecosystem can function in the US financial system, right? And that's kind of the goal that we're pushing for very heavily there. And that I think is going to help DeFi grow to completely new heights.
Right. So the banks are undergoing a mindset shift right now. As you heard, just even a couple of months ago, their mindset was different. So you have individuals on X that aren't doing this type of research. And it's clear as day because videos like this are barely even getting 2,000 views, which just goes to prove my point that nobody from the retail side of things has even taken the time to listen to these video breakdowns from reputable individuals that just met with the president talking about integrating DeFi into the new financial system. You cannot make this stuff up. It is right in front of your eyes, and people are choosing not to listen. Now, I just showed you guys a recent video breakdown of an interview with the R3 CEO, where he specifically said that he just sat down with a large financial institution that is talking about integrating into the DeFi ecosystem.
In fact, I was speaking to a very large bank this week with their desire to see how they could enter the DeFi market, from their position. They won't go in without being thoughtful of how to do that, but it's something that not just this bank, but many other banks,
You cannot get any more clear than that. And that video breakdown is only from 2 weeks ago. Now, if we move over here, again, I'm showing you guys all updated information. So anybody with this outdated mindset that you're still gathering information from and following on the internet, you need to block them. You need to stop listening to them, and you need to move with the changing tide or risk being left behind. Again, stop thinking that you need to go out and risk your hard-earned capital, your digital assets in the DeFi ecosystem to learn about it. That is not what we're trying to portray here. We're just trying to get you guys educated on what is happening, what is unfolding behind the scenes. And that is earning yield on your digital assets is going to be a part of this new financial system, and you should learn how to do it. That does not mean you have to go out there and risk your XRP or risk your Link or risk your Quant or whatever assets you hold. I'm just naming a few off the top of my head to participate in DeFi. In order to participate in DeFi, you can literally just get educated, right? You can take zero risk by just learning. And that is what we are trying to convey here at CYPRX. Yet vast majority of individuals are ignoring their education because they're scared, they're fearful, and they're ignorant, and they're going to remain that way, and they're going to get left behind. So here is another individual on stage sitting next to a BlackRock representative. This is going to play an important role here in just a second, considering that he's sitting next to Robbie Mitchnick from BlackRock. Listen to what he says here.
Seconds to get things done. And in the United States of America, it is now safe and explicitly legal to be a blockchain company. So that's great for us because it's been hard for a few years under the previous regime. But it's also really interesting for organizations like BlackRock, for software developers in TradFi or in Web2, because now they can feel comfortable holding tokens, participating in DeFi, or building applications for consumers.
He literally just said that market participants like BlackRock can now be comfortable participating in DeFi, word for word.
Because now they can feel comfortable holding tokens, participating in DeFi.
Because of the shift in regulatory developments in the United States. That is massive. This video breakdown was uploaded only 9 hours ago. So yet again, you have ignorant individuals on the internet that come in the comment, like I can't stand the ignorance that exists on Twitter. It is so mind-boggling that in an age of information, people choose ignorance over knowledge and power. Right? You have reputable individuals on stage that just leaned over to Robbie Mitchnick and said, hey, oh, look, BlackRock now pretty much has the opportunity to participate in DeFi. That is huge. Oh, hold on. Let me blow your mind even further, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. Look at what Robbie Mitchnick says he is working on educating his clients on. Take a second here and listen to this.
Once you start to get beyond that, it does get a little more vast, a little more complicated. It's about being a bet on blockchain adoption and innovation. That's part of the thesis as we communicate it to clients. And then when they want to get down to a little more tangible level, we could talk about some of the more specific use cases that it unlocks. And obviously there's a lot, but 3 that we focus on that have a lot of resonance with our client base is it's a bet to some extent on tokenization, on stablecoin adoption, and on decentralized finance. And so that I think resonates, but it does take a fair bit of education. And so we've been on that journey, and it's going to take, I think, more time.
drops the mic. BlackRock just openly admitted that they are educating not only themselves, but also their clients on decentralized finance, DeFi, at the Digital Asset Summit 2025. Does Bobby on the internet, on Twitter, have more credentials than Robbie Mitchnick, whom used to work at Ripple, who now is the head of digital assets at BlackRock? No. And this gentleman is literally sitting on stage telling you all right to your face what they're educating themselves about. So what is now stopping you as a retail investor from furthering your education on DeFi? Absolutely nothing except ignorant people on the internet that try to distract you and keep your mindsets fixated on the past. Oh my goodness, gosh gracious, ladies and gentlemen, freaking smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. I get so hyped to make videos like this because I am a light bearer. I'm here to wake you all up and keep you moving with the changing tides. Let's continue to roll and move forward. This is so crazy. People just cannot even fathom some of the information that we're pumping out here at CYPRX. Shout out to Smoke here. He put this out just a couple of days ago where he said RLUSD passive income. Now, the XRPL's robust infrastructure supports institutional grade financial applications, and it talks about some of the different features, making it a prime platform for real world asset tokenization. Then it talks about this Open Eden partnership, where it says the partnership between XRP Ledger and Open Eden is not just about technology, but about expanding access. Open Eden has attracted a diverse range of institutional clients, including foundations, corporate treasuries, and buy-side funds. The co-founder of Open Eden stated, bringing tokenization T-bills to the XRP Ledger marks a pivotal step in our journey, where investors will soon be able to mint T-bill tokens via stablecoins, including Ripple's RLUSD, set to launch later this year. Now, if we come over here to Open Eden, it literally says right in front of your face, regulated, world-class, and trusted, and it has its participating industry-leading experts backing the organization. BlackRock, State Street, Franklin Templeton, Ripple, LSG, Galaxy, just to name a few. Now, I put a video breakdown out for you guys just a couple of days ago, where in that video breakdown, I give not only panel discussions from large financial institutions like Franklin Templeton telling you guys that this is all happening, but I physically show you guys in these two back-to-back video breakdowns how right now, in this very moment, you can earn yield on regulated stablecoins, USDC and EURC, on a platform called Aerodrome. Well, if we come back over here to Open Eden, regulated, world-class, and trusted, and we go and we look at the Open Eden ecosystem and their partners, interestingly enough, if we scroll right down here, Aerodrome Finance is one of their partners. I've been trying to show and tell you guys this for the longest time. Now, I'm not backing this organization or this company, and there's always risk involved in DeFi. But what I'm trying to get you guys to see is that the landscape is changing rapidly, and now is not the time to remain ignorant and remain suppressed by outdated information and the mindset that most people still have, being fearful, living in 2022 when it is now 2025. And for the first time ever, not only a government and a political spectrum that was trying to win out crypto has now completely flipped the script and supports not only crypto but decentralized finance. But for the first time ever, the infrastructure is finally set in place for these financial institutions to onboard into the DeFi ecosystem.
You know, actually the question is not how institutions are adopting DeFi, it's how they navigate it, right? And now it's really about navigating it versus are they touching it or not? They are. They're already interacting with it.
Everything is about the change, and if you're living in the past, you risk being left behind. So if today's video breakdown has blown your mind and you're like, oh, wow, Cypress is making sense. He's actually pulling up valid credentials and not talking out of his and showing us that not only is he telling us to get educated in DeFi, but you have BlackRock sitting on stage saying that they are educating themselves and their clients in DeFi. I think I should go get educated. Head over to the CYPRX YouTube. Here is a free playlist with over, I think, look at this, 46 video breakdowns discussing and talking about yield, discussing and talking about how we are earning yield on our digital assets, how you, at the same exact time that we are earning yield on our digital assets, can learn about the same exact things that we are. Again, I'm not telling you guys to go out there and deploy into the DeFi ecosystem, but start to learn. So here is a free resource that you can start on. If you guys want a little bit more in-depth approach and you actually want to take your knowledge base to the next level, head over to CYPRXtrading.com, tap into the Wealth 28 Club. You have over 200 curated video breakdowns, step-by-step, breaking down how we are dumping our hard-earned capital into the DeFi ecosystem to generate passive rewards with our digital assets, utilizing blockchains like Base, like Arbitrum, like Solana, and utilizing now the XRPL's AMM features, right? Again, you do not have to go and deploy your hard-earned assets to learn about DeFi. Tap into the information that is out there and educate yourselves. I cannot stress enough that now is the time to persevere your education. Stop listening to ignorant individuals on the internet and start to transform your mindset, transform your wealth, and understand how to keep your wealth in the long term. As always, many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant out there. I cannot stress enough. Be aware. Like, holy crap, we are in the age of information and people are still so suppressed in terms of their knowledge curve because they choose ignorance. Stop choosing ignorance, choose light, choose education, choose knowledge, and I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.